Okay, let's dig into Boruto as a live-action movie. This can only go well for me in the comments. First up, of course, we have to cast Boruto Uzumaki. Now this is going to be a tough one, as will most of these castings, because ideally whoever we get has some degree of martial arts training. As you can imagine, it's tough to find an established teen actor whom we also know for a fact can fight. The best I can come up with in that category is Karate Kid Legend's Ben Wong, who's 25 but could pass for a teenager. The only problem, of course, is that Boruto, like his father Naruto, is very white-coated. Creator Masashi Kishimoto has even been quoted as saying that, given a live-action adaptation, he envisions Naruto as a white American child. So this presents a bit of a quandary, as I just can't name a whole lot of young white actors who also have the martial arts skills necessary to pull off this character. Excuse me. If we're ignoring the martial arts requirement and just kinda assuming things don't go the way of Iron Fist, then how about Stranger Things' Noah Schnapp? He's not involved in any controversial happenings, right? At just 20 years old, he's got a pretty young look about him, and I could easily see him taking on the role of Boruto, given a little training and a dye job. And though he's nearly 30, Tom Holland has maintained a pretty youthful appearance, and he has the physicality down. He's a dancer and a gymnast, which could come in handy with what would no doubt be a grueling training schedule in order to get in shape for Boruto. And since we're ignoring Ben Wong, let's throw in Rudy Pankow. He's in Outer Banks and played young Sam in the Uncharted movie with Tom Holland. Like the rest, he's a little old for the role, but he does look a lot like Boruto. And if I'm being super honest, this is definitely a role fit for a complete unknown with a martial arts background, but since our gimmick is casting known actors in the roles, let's go with Rudy Pankow. He seems like a nice in-between. Just gotta teach him a few moves in pre-production. Uchiha. Sarada Uchiha is, as her name suggests, from the Uchiha clan, which is more Japanese-coded than the others, so let's broaden that a bit and look at younger Asian actresses. Like with Boruto and pretty much everyone else, we're going to go ahead and age her up a little bit for the sake of casting. First up is Rachel Boyd, who played Willow in the 2024 movie Boot Camp, which, side note, is advertised as being based on the Wattpad YA sensation, which, is just something I never thought I'd see. Anywho, moving on. How about Devyn Nekoda? You might remember her as Mindy's girlfriend Anika in Scream 6. At just 24 years old, she definitely works within the confines of our fairly lax age restrictions, and she's apparently a trained dancer, meaning she would probably have a leg up on the martial arts aspect of the character. Then there's Lana Condor. The Vietnamese-American actress played Jubilee in X-Men Apocalypse, and while she's nearing 30, she does have a pretty youthful appearance. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Devyn Nekoda, though. It's a bit of an arbitrary choice, but then again, this is all just speculation for the sake of crafting creepy AI nightmares that'll drive fans toward clicking on the video and leaving disparaging comments, so whatever. Mitsuki is a synthetic human and essentially a clone of the villainous Orochimaru, and so I think it's safe to ignore the ethnicity question. He's going to go to whichever actor can best pull off the pale, blue-haired, socially awkward weirdo aesthetic. First up, Austin Butler. He'd never take the role, but it's fun to think about. Something about his role in Dune 2 just screams Mitsuki to me. Cobra Kai's Tanner Buchanan has the physicality necessary for the role and the unnaturally perfect facial structure one might expect from a synthetic human. Then there's Maxwell Jenkins, who's been in Lost in Space, Reacher, and most recently the unfortunately canceled series The Bondsman. And actually, I think Jenkins perhaps fits the character best, so let's go with him. Why not? Konohamaru Sarutobi is a little older than the rest at the time of Boruto, so the world's our oyster when it comes to potential actors. First up, let's see Robert Pattinson in the role. Brilliant. Gladiator 2's Paul Mescal is just about the right age, so throw him in the ring for Konohamaru. And how about, I don't know, Jacob Elordi. He's having a good run. I like that guy, and Saltburn's yo. So, yeah, he looks good, right? Good enough for government work. Out of those three, I'd have to go with Paul Mescal. I feel like he's got the physicality down after working on Gladiator, and frankly, he just looks tough as nails, similarly to how I imagine Konohamaru would look in real life. Himawari Uzumaki is Naruto's youngest child, meaning for our purposes, we're going to be looking for actresses who could conceivably be younger than Rudy Pankow's Boruto. First up, how about Sadie Sink? Slap some blonde hair dye on those locks, and she's a shoo-in for the part. Also from Stranger Things, I feel like I have to suggest Millie Bobby Brown for the sake of the algorithm. I'm sure we'll use that one in the thumbnail or something. And for my third pick, she's maybe slightly too old, but let's try Joey King in the role. I feel like at the very least, she could pull off being Rudy's little sister. And actually, yeah, Joey King has tried time and time again to be an action star, so let's splash some blonde hair dye on her and let her cook. While there are plenty more characters we could cast, I'm basically at my time limit here, so let's tackle Naruto Uzumaki. At the time of Boruto, he's in his early 30s, meaning we have a pretty big range to work with. We just need an actor who can pull off being in their 30s, i.e. what Tom Cruise has been doing for all of the 2000s. So first off, let's try Viking's very own Alexander Ludwig. He's got the whole blonde thing down, and while we'd have to force him to shave, I think he could pull off an older Naruto. I don't know why I said it that way. Blah, 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 blah. Our second X-Men Apocalypse alum, Ben Hardy, is another natural blonde with the right mix of physicality and acting pedigree to portray Naruto. And last but not least, let's go a little older and see what Alexander Skarsgård would look like in the role. I mostly just wanted to see him with whiskers on his face, to be honest. Since most of the characters are getting aged up, let's go with Skarsgård. Beyond all the other qualifications, he's a bigger name, which makes sense when casting the biggest name in our cast of characters. Who knows, maybe we can get them sweet, sweet murder bot bucks. As far as what our plot would be, I think you'll be unsurprised to find out that I didn't watch all of Boruto, and so I, like most Hollywood execs in charge of casting, have no idea what I'm talking about. However, I feel like a direct continuation could work. Maybe. Probably? I don't know. Statistically, you've stopped watching the video at this point, so who cares? Who would you cast in a live-action Boruto? Who did I fail to mention? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching ScreenRant.